No, you're supposed to answer without. You got it written down.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. But all right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me here for Let's Talk Live. Tonight's guest is my youngest son, Kaleb M Antoine. He is a 15-year-old high school student, and he decided to help his dad out by doing an interview so we can hear from the mind of a 20th century or 21st century teenager. So please welcome Kaleb Michael Antoine. All right. All right, so I always like to start off with some icebreaker questions. My first question for you, young man, is do you prefer to read, listen to music, or watch television, and why?
I don't like reading, but I like listening to music and television equally because I like to be entertained and, you know.
All right. Name one thing that you would like to do that you've never done.
Skydive or bungee jump.
Skydive or bungee jump. And I need you to project your voice because the camera's way over there.
Okay.
Okay, so who's the person that you look up to the most and why?
You.
Me. Okay. Why is that?
Because you're a very smart person and I learned a lot from you in my life.
Okay. And if you could have a conversation with any person, dead or alive, real or fictional, who would it be and why?
Hulk.
The Hulk. Okay. And is there anything you would like to know from the Hulk or learn from the Hulk?
What does it feel like when he transforms?
When he transforms. So are you going to have a conversation when he's the Hulk or when he's Bruce Banner? Because he doesn't really talk very well when he's the Hulk. I don't know if you paid attention
Well,
to
he
that.
does now.
Oh, he does not? Okay, so the Hulk is your guy. You would like to talk, out of all the people that you can talk to, forget about Martin Luther King, forget about Jesus, you want to talk to the Hulk. Okay, got it. All right, what makes you sad?
When a person dies or when my friends move away or when I move away from my friends.
Okay. And what makes you happy?
Food and family time.
Food and family time. All right, let's talk about video gaming because we know that you are a avid video gamer. Why do you enjoy playing video games?
Because it's like a movie you can control, and I like choice-based games because you can get different endings.
Choice-based games so you can get different endings. Okay. And how old were you when you started playing video games? You remember?
I have no idea.
No idea? You actually started pretty young.
I did?
Yeah, you started pretty young. How many hours a day would you say you play video games?
It does vary.
Oh, it varies. On an average, what do you think? How much time do you think you're spending playing video games?
I don't know.
6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day? Any idea?
Maybe 8.
About 8 hours a day. You realize there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
8 of those 24 hours you're sleeping. The other 8 you're playing video games, so that leaves you with 8 left for everything else. Okay. Do you ever get bored with gaming?
Yes.
You do get bored. All right. Sports. Let's talk about sports, because there was a time when you were younger where you were involved with sports. What is your favorite sport and why?
Football.
Football is your favorite sport, even though you don't want to play it. Why? Why is football your favorite sport?
Because, I don't know, it's just all I've ever known.
Okay. Boxing. I know you're starting to take up boxing. What do you like about boxing?
When you learn a new combo and you actually get it down, it feels good. And then you just keep learning more combos and you know all the slips and stuff. And then
Okay.
yeah, and then you can move. I like all that.
Okay, what do you dislike about boxing?
Well, no, to be honest, because you haven't really done anything that I dislike so far.
Okay. Do you have a favorite NFL team?
like every family member has a different team they go for.
Okay, so and you don't have one
No,
out of the teams? Okay. What about a favorite NBA team, basketball?
I don't like basketball.
Don't like basketball. Okay. Let's talk about life. So you obviously grew up as a military dependent because your dad is a retired Air Force. What was life like for you that you can remember growing up as a military dependent child?
I don't remember much, but I always like when you show up as a surprise for when you pick me up from school.
Okay. So when I would go out of town, deployment or something like that, come back, surprise you at school? Okay. Now, obviously, you are the product of a divorce, a statistic like a lot of us. How has your parents' divorce affected you, either negatively or positively?
Well, I have wondered what it would be like now if you guys were still together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd like to see you more than like 5 times a year.
Right.
But yeah.
So the divorce has obviously put a strain on your relationship because you don't even live in the same state, let alone the same city with your dad. So it makes things a lot difficult, right? So that's the negative thing. Any positive out of your parents being divorced that you can see? Nothing positive? No? Okay. Okay, have you ever or do you feel any pressure from your parents to perform well as they have done in life, either in school or maybe in your future career? Do you feel any pressure from them? And pressure is actually not necessarily a bad thing, but do you feel any pressure?
Sometimes, but it's not a lot.
It's not a lot?
Yeah.
Pressure to perform? Okay. Okay, so hopefully you are learning good things from both your parents. However, is there one thing that you have learned from them that you do not want to do or repeat, or you do not want to make that same mistake that they made? So in other words, have you learned what not to do from your parents? Can you think of anything?
Well, I'm not sure if you guys done this, but I procrastinate on my homework a lot. Yeah, my mom's always telling me to stop doing that, but yeah, I gotta stop doing that.
So for you, you just got, but you didn't necessarily learn that from your parents. You just know you got to stop procrastinating.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like about high school?
It gives you more freedom and more privilege than middle school and elementary school.
So the freedom? Okay. What do you dislike about high school?
That you're getting closer to being an adult, and then life will change drastically.
Oh, so you actually recognize that, huh? A lot of young folks don't recognize that. They're actually in a rush to get to adulthood, not understanding what's waiting for them when they get there. And then when they get there, they wish they can go back because they had no idea. But at least you have enough insight to recognize that, let me enjoy these teenage years, these growing up years, because that's short in comparison to the rest of your life where you're going to be responsible for yourself, right? All right. So, have you ever dealt with bullying, and how did that make you feel?
Very rarely, but yeah, I get kind of angry.
Makes you angry?
Yeah.
Have you been given any advice about dealing with bullying, and what were you told? If there's anything you can share.
Don't let them get into your mind, because that's what they're going to be. And yeah, that's how I learned that.
Okay, so don't let them get into your head. All right. What college do you plan to attend, and why?
Stanford.
Stanford. Why? Why Stanford?
Well, I like California. I was in California, and I wanted to go there since I was really young.
Okay. What do you plan to major in, and why?
I don't know, but my mom and my sister, gave me some ideas.
Like what?
Like stuff I don't remember.
Is there anything that you're interested in school? Anything you're good at? Any profession that you would like to pursue? Because that can help you decide what you need to major in. What do you want to do with your life? Don't know, huh? I'm glad we're doing this interview because that tells me we need to talk. You're going into your sophomore year of high school. It's really time to start thinking about what's next because these years are going by fast. What about joining the military? Are you interested in joining the military?
No.
Not at all. Okay. Would you like to get married someday?
Yes.
Okay. What qualities would you like your future wife to have?
If she's pretty and smart and someone that can make me laugh as much as I make other people laugh, and if she's responsible.
And she's responsible. Okay. Would you like to have children someday?
Yes.
How many and why?
At least 3.
3. Okay.
Because when challenges get thrown at them, they can go through them together.
All right. Current events. Have you seen the video of George Floyd being murdered by police brutality?
Yes.
Okay. How did that make you feel watching that?
I was angry at first. And
Okay.
I cried a little bit because I was wondering why nobody's going to push the police officer off.
Have you ever experienced racism?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about that?
It's some of the kids they don't understand seriousness, and then they just make some racist jokes. They don't take it seriously, but
Like using the N word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like, some people, it's not toward me. This is what I'm about to say, but some people just make fun of the knee on the neck thing on the internet.
Oh, okay. So what's your position on Black Lives Matter? How do you feel about that?
Like position.
Yeah, what's your stand on it? Are you for it? Against it?
Yeah, I'm for it.
You for it? Okay. What does it mean to you when you hear Black Lives Matter? Why is that movement a movement right now? Why are people really pushing that agenda? You understand why?
Because we shouldn't be going through this at all. I mean, we all bleed the same color, but just because we're darker doesn't mean we're different.
All right. And some closing questions. We are obviously still in a pandemic, coronavirus, COVID-19. How has that affected your teenage life?
Well, you can't really go anywhere, and you have to wear a mask everywhere. And that's one reason my mom had to come with me here, so I can be safe.
And what about school?
They shut the schools down all the way.
They shut down, right? All right. You are a born-again believer, have been water baptized as well. What does your faith mean to you?
Complete trust in God that He will lead you through any challenge you might face.
And that's what your faith means to you? All right. Knowing what you know now, I know you haven't lived a lot of years on this earth, but even at 15, we still could have made mistakes, things that we would do differently. What advice would you give to the younger version of you on how you would conduct yourself? Is there anything you would do differently if you can go back and talk to the younger Kaleb?
Probably stop trying to make things so perfect, because when I write, like when I'm doing writing assignments in school,
Right.
I erase entire paragraphs because like a couple words don't look right to me, and I do that a lot.
That's it? So you would just write differently in school?
Yeah, I like to try to make a lot of things, look like, even with like Legos.
Oh, okay.
Even like Legos, when it doesn't look quite right, I like take the entire thing apart and do it again to make it look according to the picture. And Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Even with sports, I've always, been very good at it. And I was at high school set, and I've seen people that are a lot better. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's weird not being the best when you go to high school because kids are a lot bigger than you.
Yeah.
And I've always been like the fastest and the strongest, and I've always caught the most catches. But
You see, there's competition out there. Oh yeah, because there's some guys that's gonna go pro at certain levels. Well, yeah, I went through the same thing. Pop Warner, I was the man. Junior high, pretty much the man to get to high school. It's like, whoa, there's guys bigger, stronger, faster. It's like, wow, where did they come from? So the competition is there, but that still should not cause you to be intimidated because everybody has a place where they fit in. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you gotta be willing to step out there, and because everybody don't blossom at the same time. So some of these guys, they mature a little faster, so they peaked off, whereas you could still be growing in size, in height, in speed, in everything. So you can't let that intimidate you. And unfortunately, a lot of us do that because we may not mature as fast as other people do. But of course, and just like life, there's gonna be people that's always better than you. But I can tell you, a lot of those guys that are in the NFL, in the NBA, they're not the best guys that's ever done it. I guarantee each and every one of them could tell you that there was a guy that they went to high school with that was better than them, but that person had some other issues that prevented them from going to the NBA or to the NFL. So you can't never let that stop you. That because somebody's better than me, I'm not going to play this sport, or I'm not going to do this, because you never know what might cancel them out. They may be the best running back that y'all have at the high school, but they like to do drugs. So guess what's going to happen to them? They're not going to be on the field because they're always getting suspended or something like, you know what I mean? So that's why we always got to position ourselves, because I can tell you what happened with me in high school. I was the very last person to be an honor student. There's a percentage of the number of students that you have, and I just missed the cutoff at first. But the person that was right above me, guess what they ended up doing? Something stupid. They ended up being suspended from school because they kept coming to school late. So when they dropped out, guess who got put in now? Again, I wouldn't have made the cut. They had a higher GPA than I did, but they did something stupid that got them knocked out and got me put in. So it can happen like that. Like I said, a lot of them guys are not the best guys in the NFL, but the folks that probably should have been ahead of them did something stupid and never made it to that level. You see what I'm saying? All right, that's it then. But you see what happens? See, it goes really fast. If you're not a conversationalist, imagine if I didn't have those questions, how this would have went. You see what I'm saying? If I get somebody that doesn't talk, then I gotta have these questions. And it still went fast. I ran through those questions so fast because you don't expound, you just answer the question. Have you ever done it? Yep. Okay, well, why? Well, because of this. So that's quick. You know what I mean? And with an interview, just like when you get ready for job interviews, that right there is not gonna work. They're gonna ask you questions that promote conversation. They never ask yes or no questions because that goes too fast. They need to be able to get into your brain and see how you think. So they're gonna ask you questions that's gonna force you to answer prolonged answers. Not something that's quick, one sentence, you see what I'm saying? And that's what I try to do with this interview. But this was only, and this is even with me doing all that talking, we didn't even make 19 minutes.